Hello everyone and welcome to yet another edition of the show where Grant Johnson and myself are once again coming to you from behind the gloves. And as you can see, we've got a very special guest with us today, and the show fittingly behind the gloves has meaning to it because we've got a goalkeeper on the show today, Grant.
Yes, we're lucky enough to have Ricardo Goss. He's the current, he's the number one at Supersport and also at the national team. He's been with the national team for the last 3 years, so I've worked quite closely with him over the last 3 years. But what we want to chat about today is the difficulty of goalkeeping. And Ricardo knows for himself he's in a difficult predicament at the moment where he got injured and now he needs to get back in the team. And the current goalkeeper, Takazani, is playing really well and keeping a couple of clean sheets. So, yeah, Ricardo, how do you handle it? What is the mental strength that you need as a goalkeeper?
Sure. It's a difficult period for me. I don't think I've been in such a predicament before. But yeah, I think it's more mental strength and maybe just time to find yourself, personally, and see what you can improve on when you get back. It's more mental. But obviously, life has its challenges, and being a goalkeeper also, you need to be mentally strong. So maybe it's actually building me on guiding me into, becoming a better goalkeeper.
Is it, when you speak about it being more mental, is it a case of that you know your capabilities physically, and so it becomes a more mental thing? You know what you can do on the training ground in game situations, but you've got to overcome it from a mental toughness perspective.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. And when you've got a goalkeeper that's doing well, we need to be honest about that. Sometimes the team loses, but the goalkeeper's made some massive saves, to keep the team in the game. And you come back to training and you see him doing that at training as well. It becomes so hard for you you keep trying to measure yourself. Am I there? Am I there? Am I there? And every time you concede, you ask yourself, what happened there? You consider goal, like, oh, what's happening, Ricardo? What's happening? Are you losing your touch or what? Yeah, so when I say mental, it's those questions you have for yourself that you ask yourself.
But does that make you second guess yourself though?
Yes, you do a lot, and you get to experience. I guess when I got here, I've played most of the games, so I've never really had the experience of being a number two. So you get to understand, okay, these are the jokes I can't make at training.
Right.
This is what I can talk about, and when someone makes a joke about that, you start to feel, you ask yourself, is this guy joking because of that, or So all those questions, they're in your mind, and somehow they start to affect your game, But you need to be strong and rise above the occasion and understand your quality and your worth.
I think Andre and I, we were in the game a long time, and we both went through the exact same scenario you've been in. Maybe him at the national team, or maybe even when he played for Fulham in England, where you're sitting on the bench and you're wondering, when is my next game?
Yes.
And you feel like you're a little bit out of it, you feel a little bit isolated. But we know you're one of the top goalkeepers in the country, and we have total belief in you. So that's, from our point of view, that's not an issue. But we know that the next year, probably the next year and a half, is a massive year for you. As it is for me, being part of the national team. We've got so much to look forward to. Having said that, to be in the national team, you've got to play. How's that affecting you at the moment? How are you thinking about it, or is it in the back of your mind, or are you just focusing on getting back in the team?
I think that's what puts more pressure on me, because Vin is back playing now. You've got Sipo popping up. You've got Ronan. Now there's 4 of us. Yeah. Now it becomes, am I in? I need to be playing. So yeah, it does play on my mind a lot, and it kind of motivates me, pushes me a bit to do some extra work, because I don't know how the world works. The more extra work you do, the better your chances of you being in there, So that's been at the back of my mind, and I'm thinking about it a lot, that I need to start playing, especially now that the World Cup qualifiers are coming. Yeah. I don't want to be outside. Yeah. And I don't know how it's going to play out, but definitely it's in my mind, and I'm trying to be positive, and just try to push an extra mile and do that extra, You never know.
Yeah, I think Grant and I speak a lot about the modern goalkeeper. And you are part of that modern goalkeeping aspect of the game. Grant and I go way back, and we we sort of old school from a goalkeeping perspective, and as he mentioned off air, we had jobs back in the day, and then we trained in the evening to play on the weekend. It's a full-time thing now for goalkeepers in the modern game. Take us briefly through what a day in the life of a modern goalkeeper. So I suppose when you wake up in the morning until your day ends at night and you're preparing for games.
So, like, I've got into a routine. I think the older you get, you start to get into routines as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So I've got into a routine where it's a morning, you wake up, okay, drop off the kids at school, and then head to Kobus at 7 a.m. and push a bit there, and then get into the main session, the gym session, which is always challenging, but you know, you have to be up for the challenge, especially as a professional player. You can't be complaining, because that's what you do. Like you said, there's no work or job. It's just you focused on your career, and then it's heading off to the pitch where you kill us and make us do a lot of footwork. Then after that, it's like a light lunch, and then you head home, you nap here and there before the kids are back, you know, because that's also another challenge. Yeah. And then after that, we wait for the misters, then it's dinner time, and then you just get ready for the next day. But it's really a privilege. Like you said, Coach, you said that, you even said it often that you used to work. You know, for us, we don't see that because we've never experienced that. But when you hear people speaking about that, you realize, oh no, shucks, I'm actually living a dream here. You know,
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of people that go to work 8 to 5 every day, sitting behind a desk or behind a computer. Or there's so many jobs out there, but I think a life of a professional footballer, and maybe the scenario that you're going through where it's tough mentally, maybe you start appreciating the game a bit more. Maybe you start appreciating your job a bit more and being a professional footballer.
Definitely, Coach. Like you say, you like, I feel like the older you get as a goalkeeper, you start to get into a routine of yours, you know. As when you're younger, you're just spontaneous, you know. And like I say, you open up that gap for extra work, and I just feel like that extra work is so underrated, but it goes such a long way into making you a better goalkeeper, a modern goalkeeper. I think even watching the game more, watching your Man City, because you know teams want to go from the back now. The goalkeeper needs to be good with his footwork. So watching the games more and more and more, I think it improves you. And watching your games as well, you know, okay, what could I have done better there? Where could I have passed? Which was a better pass? I think the more it becomes like you're schooling yourself, I think you become more aware of, okay, that's my strength, that's my quality.
So I think, sorry Andrew, I think that what Ricardo just said there is an important aspect for young goalkeepers. Listen to what he just said. And if you start with that mentality at a younger age, I think you'll go a lot further, Andrew.
I totally agree, and I love what you mentioned about the components of doing extra. And I'm on the training ground with you guys, and I see the incredible amount of work you do with Coach Grant as well, from a goalkeeping perspective. And we always ask, is that enough? When you have other components like video analysis, teams that you can be watching on the world stage, I sometimes think, do modern day players watch enough football? And I think that now that you mention that, it is such an important part of anyone's progression, anyone's development, especially young players. So when Grant Johnson mentions that it's very important to listen to what Ricardo is saying and follow that lead, you've got to do it.
Yeah, I think it's important, and football being, these guys are earning the big bucks these days. But on a serious note, there's a good living to be made out of football, and I think as a youngster, if you've got potential, I was never, as a kid, I was never the best. There were other players that were better than me, but I had the right mentality to know where I wanted to go, and I pushed hard to get there. So there's different ways of doing it as a youngster. If you do have the potential and you have the skill to get to a certain level, it's all up to you, you know. You can do whatever you want.
Just before we close up the show for this edition, Grant, if I can ask Ricardo one question that he could give to our viewers, especially the younger ones who are coming through and are aspiring to be a top goalkeeper in years to come, what's the one life lesson that you perhaps off the top of your head maybe could give to our viewers as a goalkeeper?
I think I've been lucky. I've worked with a lot of experienced goalkeepers. I think just try to steal everything from each goalkeeper, because we're all different, different qualities, different abilities, if I can steal something from you, coach, and from you, coach, and mix it up, and then I think that, like you say, like I feel like the most important thing, watch to learn, not watch because you're just watching the game. See how these goalkeepers play and try to steal from Mike Mignolet. You got Thibaut Courtois, you know, Ter Stegen. Try to steal and incorporate that into your game. And I think from there,
I think that's fantastic advice. I think thanks, Ricardo. It's been amazing chatting to you. We wish you good luck in what's happening in your year ahead. We have the biggest confidence in you. But from behind the gloves, Andre, it's been a great chat.
It certainly has, and can I just send this away with the viewers? The words that really, really stuck out for me there was, watch to learn.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.